As the fog rolled silently through the streets of Atlanta on that fateful September night, the modest brick house at 1114 Fountain Drive held its breath. Hidden behind a veil of swirling mist, the home remained unaware that it was about to become the backdrop of a chilling, unsolved mystery. The dull glow of a single street lamp flickered while shadows danced along the edges of the property, setting the stage for an eerie scene that would linger in the minds of locals for decades. With each passing hour, the fog thickened, enveloping the house in an almost ghostly embrace. Inside, a quiet hum of life whispered, but outside, an unsettling stillness resonated through the air. Rumors began to swirl, intertwining with the fog as they captured the attention of neighbors and investigators alike. What secrets lay behind those brick walls? What story would emerge from the darkness that shrouded the night? As the city woke to the dawn of a new day, the atmosphere remained heavy with questions and curiosity. Still, the mystery of that night persisted, growing deeper as time went on. Each year, the fog returned, and with it, a renewed intrigue surrounding the house at 1114 Fountain Drive. The whispers of history transformed into a living memory, urging Atlanta's residents to ponder the tales concealed within the brick facade. The unsolved mystery continues to haunt the city, a reminder of the secrets and shadows that linger in the fog. On a seemingly ordinary evening in September 1987, an unsettling silence enveloped a humble brick house in Atlanta. The distant sound of running water provided a serene backdrop as 77-year-old Minnie Winston settled into her bath, oblivious to the horrors that awaited her. The day had passed without incident, but a single moment was about to fracture her reality, leaving a haunting legacy for investigators to unravel over the following decades. As she eased herself from the warm embrace of the bath, something unexplainable caught her attention. A fleeting shadow danced across the tiles, reminiscent of a trick of the light. Yet, as her foot grazed the floor, a chilling realization struck her. The surface was slick with an unfamiliar substance, a sickening red hue that seemed to pulse under the dim illumination of the room. The horrific discovery sent a jolt of fear through Minnie's fragile frame. Was it blood? The reality of an injury she hadn't felt began to creep into her thoughts. However, the truth defied logic, twisting in her gut. The red liquid was not of her making. With each trembling step through her home, the nightmare unfurled. Glistening streaks now adorned not just the bathroom, but followed her down the hallway, invading the very core of her sanctuary. The bloodied trail reached every corner, igniting questions that lingered long after the night faded, leaving Minnie in a horrifying isolation. Her home transformed into a scene from the darkest depths of fear. In a quaint Atlanta neighborhood, what once was a beautiful home for Minnie and Willie turned into a nightmare. As Minnie discovered the horrific sight of crimson liquid seeping through her walls, terror gripped her heart. The glistening red reflection in her eyes bore witness to an impending horror that would redefine their lives forever. "Willie," she cried out, the fear in her voice heavy in the air, instantly bridging the gap between ordinary life and an impending supernatural encounter. When Willie entered the bathroom, an innocent inquiry turned to frozen disbelief, as the couple stood side by side, gazing at the unimaginable. Blood, unmistakably real, dripped from their ceiling, coated their floors, and streaked every corner like a sinister artist's hand. Confusion morphed into dread. Their sanctuary transformed into a macabre landscape where the vivid scarlet became a startling contrast against their neutral-toned walls. With dread creeping in, they felt the weight of time collapsing around them. Each droplet of blood mirrored their internal spiral into fear, each stain a whisper of the past that was now haunting their present. Together, they were helpless witnesses to an unspeakable horror emerging, where laughter and life had once flourished. The house itself seemed alive, bleeding like a living organism, marking the end of their normalcy and the beginning of darkness. This dreadful transformation marked the tipping point into a chilling story that would echo in the quiet streets of Atlanta, forever remembered as the Bleeding House. As darkness enveloped the neighborhood, an unsettling scene unfolded at the Winston home. The air thick with tension, red and blue lights illuminated the surrounding homes, drawing curious neighbors to their doorways and windows. Behind the flashing sirens, a police car rolled in, followed closely by the unmistakable roar of a fire truck, each vehicle a harbinger of something deeply wrong. Within moments, the quiet suburban night exploded into chaos. Officers and firefighters spilled onto the scene, their expressions a blend of confusion and concern. Whispers of the bizarre circumstances permeated the air as they began to assess the eerie situation. Inside the house, the surface of the familiar took a sinister twist, with red stains marking the once inviting carpet, as if the very walls bore witness to a horrific truth. The investigations commenced with caution, each step taken with an air of trepidation. Gloves stretched taut over hands, they collected samples, their flashlights slicing through the shadows. The first inkling of dread clung to the air, thickening with every report exchanged. Once the evidence returned, disbelief swept through the room like a chilling wind. Blood, human blood abundant and fresh, yet not a soul in sight bore any injury to account for this horror. The bizarre nature of this case intensified as officers scanned the walls, the search for answers capturing every ounce of their resolve. As the night deepened, surrounded by the fading echoes of sirens, the mystery transformed into an enigma, each heartbeat resonating with the culmination of questions yet to be answered. In a dimly lit lab, tension hangs in the air as technicians gather around a microscope, their faces taut with concentration. Fingerprints of sweat glisten on foreheads, magnifying the palpable anxiety that accompanies the examination of unusual blood samples. When the first results trickle in, eyebrows furrow and mouths part in disbelief. The blood extracted from the Winton house reveals no match to the family, defying expectations and unraveling a narrative steeped in mystery. As the investigation deepens, the blood's bizarre composition prompts an avalanche of questions. Reflected on screens, data points waver like ghosts, indicating something beyond ordinary comprehension. Analysts comb through intricate charts and graphs, their minds racing with possibilities. Could this be linked to some ancient ritual lost in time or an emergent biological phenomenon, unseen yet profoundly impactful? The narrative thickens when whispers of cult activities emerge, resonating through the community like echoing footsteps in a haunted corridor. The specter of bygone rites looms in the shadows, entwined with suspicion and fear. A local paranormal investigator, armed with a spirit detector, treads lightly through the remnants of history where sunlight fails to penetrate. Could this blood represent the bleed of two worlds, intertwined in an unexplained dance of the unknown? This intrusion of supernatural whispers into the fabric of reality leaves everyone pondering. What truly lies behind the curtains of the Winton house? And where will this investigation lead next? In the depths of a dimly lit office, shadows dance across the cluttered desk, alive with the energy of unresolved cases and haunting memories. The investigator sits engulfed by piles of old photographs and police reports, surrounded by an atmosphere thick with suspense. As the warm glow of the desk lamp flickers, its light struggles against the encroaching darkness, setting the stage for a tale of terror. The case before them is not just challenging, it is bewildering. Suddenly, a crime appeared overnight. Gallons of blood without a source, without footprints, without explanation. The investigator sifts through photographs of that cursed house, their heart racing as the grim details materialize. Scientific analysis stripped away the illusion of clarity, leaving only unanswered questions. No match found. A chilling reality stamped across vital documents, transporting the investigator deeper into a web of uncertainty. As whispers of the impossible intertwine with the fading clocks ticking, theories surface from the darkness. Could it be a malevolent force tied to the land? A ritualistic act shrouded in secrecy? Or is someone lurking within the shadows, orchestrating a sinister plan? Each question deepens the enigma, leaving only the hollow wind and distant rumbles of an unseen storm to fill the silence. The walls of the office echo with fear, while outside, a spectral fog envelops the yard, blurring the lines between reality and the supernatural. The night thickens with anticipation, sparking a chilling invitation. Share your theories and embrace the unknown. Fountain Drive, with its storied past, beckons from the shadows, enticing the curious to unravel its mysteries. As the ancient photograph fades in, the viewer is transported to a time when the house stood, unassuming yet enigmatic, a silent witness to tales whispered among the locals. Rumors of flickering lights and phantom voices have clouded its reputation, weaving a tapestry of intrigue that surrounds this historic abode. The ghosts of families who once called this place home linger in the air, each story more haunting than the last. Archival images flicker across the screen, showcasing laughter that echoes eerily through the years, only to be interrupted by the harsh realities captured in newspaper headlines announcing unexplained disturbances. Forsaken, the sepia-toned recreations allow us to peer into a bygone era, enveloped by a soft wind that carries secrets long buried, hinting at the unsettling disturbances that drove residents away. As the narrative transitions from the past to the present, the atmosphere thickens. Present-day footage reveals the house, still standing but draped in an unsettling darkness. Suddenly, the horror is palpable as humans' blood seeps into the very walls that once cradled families. This chilling revelation alters our perception, transforming the house from a mere observer into a character in its own right, a demanding presence that refuses to fade into obscurity. The final creak of a closing door encapsulates the lingering silence, leaving viewers grasping for answers, haunted by what once was. The unsettling tale begins with shadows creeping over an ordinary house, hinting at a chilling presence lurking within. Visuals flash like fragmented memories, scientists peering into microscopes searching for answers, while cloaked figures whisper incantations in dimly lit rooms, infusing the air with tension. From the silence arises speculation, murmuring of a powerful entity that thrives on fear, or a secretive cult performing unknown rituals in the heart of Atlanta. As the narrative unfolds, paranormal investigators traverse the eerily quiet neighborhood, EMF detectors in hand, hopeful yet haunted. A sterile lab filled with enigmatic symbols provides a stark contrast to the supernatural chaos outside. The cityscape, painted in inky night with a red marker bleeding into the local lore, beckons one to question the fabric of reality itself. Was the blood merely a prank that spiraled out of control, or the aftermath of dark intentions long concealed? Theories swirl in an emotional tempest, yet hard facts remain elusive, whispering only of conjectures and hearsay. An expert's voice pierces the thick fog of uncertainty, expressing the collective bewilderment of researchers as they grapple with the complexities entwined in this peculiar incident. Each hypothesis, paranormal, scientific, or cult-driven, invites further inquiry, yet all lead back to a haunting void of knowledge. In the end, as the night's shadows dance around the house, theories only deepen the enigma, leaving one to ponder. What secrets do those silent walls hold, and how far will we go to unearth the truth? In the aftermath of a deeply unsettling ordeal, the Winstons found themselves at a crossroads. Despite the darkness that had unfolded, they chose the light of familiarity over the fear of the unknown, deciding to remain in their home on Fountain Drive. It was a brave move, rooted in hope rather than paranoia. Daily life resumed with the gentle rustle of trees and the chirping of birds. The normalcy juxtaposed sharply against the haunting memories of the night before. As whispers began to snake through the community, the Winston family's choice became a subject of intrigue and speculation. Locals peeked through their curtains, exchanging furtive glances at the now infamous home. The newspapers fueled the narrative, headlines swelling with sensationalism, capturing a neighborhood's frayed nerves. The house was no longer a mere structure. It was a metaphor draped in suspicion, drawing crowds of the curious and the anxious alike as stories morphed into legends. Yet, within the confines of their home, Minnie and Willie Winston clung to their memories and dreams, battling the intrigue that surrounded their lives. The walls, once simply barriers to the outside world, transformed into a canvas of unanswered questions. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows over their lives, the echoes of that fateful night lingered in every creak of the floorboards, a reminder that some mysteries are destined to remain unsolved. And so they lived, bound to a house that held more than just physical space. It held the weight of an enigma. In the wake of the horrifying events surrounding the Winston home, the usually quiet neighborhood transformed into a bustling epicenter of curiosity and fear. The once serene atmosphere was punctuated by whispers and sideways glances, as neighbors congregated with nervous energy, unable to ignore the shadow that loomed large over their lives. Children, once carefree, now approached the house with caution, their laughter stifled as they swerved away on their bikes, instinctively respecting an unspoken boundary. As rumors spread like wildfire, the street became a magnet for the curious. Neighbors traded stories in hushed tones, their faces peeking through curtains, worried that their lives would somehow intertwine with the legend of the Bleeding House. Some ventured close, equipped with smartphones capturing images of the eerie property, while others simply shook their heads, unable to fathom the haunting tales taking root in their community. Several believed the Winston house bore an ominous energy, as if it were a portal to something otherworldly. It became a chilling reminder of the unknown, standing as a beacon of caution against the potential horrors that lay hidden in the shadows. The narrative quickly evolved, branding the house not just as a residence, but as a symbol of fear, an unsettling legend inscribed in the collective memory of the neighborhood, inevitably altering the lives of all who resided nearby. As dusk settled in, the Winston home stood stark against the twilight sky, a silent sentinel to the stories echoing through the community. The house remained uninhabited, Yet its presence filled the hearts of neighbors with a peculiar mix of dread and intrigue, forever altering the fabric of their once peaceful lives. In the heart of a quiet, unassuming town lies a structure shrouded in mystery and whispers of the supernatural. Known as the House That Bleeds, its walls resonate with tales that send shivers down the spine of even the most skeptical. Locals speak of strange occurrences, from unexplained noises echoing through the halls to strange stains appearing on the once pristine walls, which resemble crimson droplets. The question remains, is this merely a supernatural phenomenon, or is there a deeper, darker secret waiting patiently to be uncovered? As whispers grow stronger, some dare to venture beyond the threshold, drawn by the allure of uncovering the truth behind the eerie happenings. Each creak of the floorboards and flicker of the lights paints a vivid picture of dread and curiosity. Investigators armed with cameras and EVP devices probe the shadows, hoping to capture evidence of what lurks within. Yet as they delve deeper, the line between reality and imagination blurs, leaving them to confront fears that transcend the physical realm. The narrative surrounding the House That Bleeds entwines with stories of its former inhabitants, their lives steeped in tragedy and despair. Was there a tormentor hidden within its walls? Or do these legends emerge from the collective fears of those who wander too near? With each unraveling thread, the truth dances just out of reach. As we ponder these sinister mysteries, we invite you to share your thoughts. Was it truly something supernatural, or is a darker truth overshadowing the bend of time? For more chilling horror stories, hit the subscription button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.